How's it going, everybody? It's Sports Card Walt, the card maniac. I'm the guy who runs around looking for trading cards at various retail locations, posting it on X, aka Twitter, wasting my time so you don't have to. And today we have a very exciting video. It's going to be part 6, our breakdown of MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospect list. We are getting down to the very end, everybody. Uh, all these prospects that we're going to see from here on out are the best of the best. Before we get started, a couple things I wanted to go over real quick. Part of these stats that we like to go over for some of these prospects is, for example, K rate. And I was curious, honestly, how it's formulated. It's actually very simple. But if there's a little cheat sheet on on Fangraphs, explaining very simply what's considered good, excellent, good K rate numbers compared to bad, and as well as walk rate. So some of these prospects will have a very high K rate in the minors just because of their age, but primarily, as you can see on the screen, excellent K rate ranges from 10% to awful. What they consider awful would be anything 27.5% or over. For a walk rate, generally the best of the best will have a walk rate of about 15%, whereas an awful K rate will have about 4%. Apologies for the ads popping up, but basically, I mean, it goes over, and I'll put a link in the in this video explaining some of the things. Obviously, power hitters will have a higher K rate, but generally will have a higher walk rate too. At least the best of the best players. In translation to that, uh, hitters that just hit for high average but don't have a lot of power will have a low K rate, but they might also actually have a low walk rate as well. And obviously, what separates MVPs from fringe all stars or players that not only hit for power, speed, have a low K rate, or at least an average to above average K rate, and also have a very great walk rate as well. So now that we've covered that, this is going to be part 6. It's spring training week. Spring training games have been going on for about a week now, and part of this breakdown, I'm actually going to go over some of these players that we're seeing are actually playing in spring training games. Not a whole lot. Depends on if some of these players might actually make the team. It's going to be a couple rare instances where that might actually happen. But generally, the first week or two of spring training, you'll see a lot more prospects getting some time as your veterans, your regular players slowly ease their way into playing, 3 or 4 at bats during the course of spring training. And then once your regulars start playing, almost full games in spring training, these prospects will either get reassigned to minor league camp or just won't see a whole lot of playing time. But there are, a bunch of prospects on this list for part 6 that are not only in camp, but also playing pretty regularly. And some of them are doing very, very well so far. So we'll get a little bit into that. I don't want to dive too far into it. I want to keep just the um, just the prospecting part of how they've been doing since they've been drafted or since they've been signed as a free agent. So enough rambling. Let's get into it. Kicking us off today in this video, 22nd on the list in MLB Pipeline's top 100 is Colt Keith for the Detroit Tigers. 22-year-old prospect for Detroit, second baseman. Again, another little bit of a rare instance. Colt Keith was not a high pick. He was a 5th rounder in 2020 out of high school. He's already reached AAA. He has a very decent chance of possibly even making the team for Detroit. He's played 239 games so far in the minors over the course of the last 3 or 4 seasons. His K rate's about average, 21.5%. His OPS is very solid at almost 900. You can find Colt Keith's first-year cards in 2020 Bowman Draft, and his first-year autograph is running about $130 now. There's a good deal to like about Colt Keith. He hits for average. He has a little bit of power, and as you can see, his value is pretty high for a 5th rounder. That's not doesn't happen all that often. So I have his prospectability as a yes. He is in spring training camp for Detroit, and as you can see, so far he's had 11 at bats and he has 3 hits for them. Okay, 21st on MLB Pipeline's Top 100 is Noelvi Marte for the Cincinnati Reds. 22-year-old shortstop, signed internationally by Cincinnati. I don't think signed internationally is. I'm going to cut that out when we edit this. Noelvi Marte was an international free agent signing. 22 years old. He's already reached Major League Baseball. He's called up late last season. In the minors, he played about 379 games over the course of about 3 or 4 seasons. His K rate, very good, solid average at 20.18%, OPS 833. I fixed his name because I didn't spell it right. But you can find Noelvi Marte's first year cards in 2019 Bowman, and his first year autograph is going to run you about $80. I have Marte as a yes for prospectability, just given his shortstop position. He hits for average, he hits a little bit of power, he's got speed. He is in 2024 Topps Series 1, I believe, in insert sets and as an autograph. But he won't actually have his first kind of flagship rookie card until Series 2. He is in camp with Cincinnati. Obviously, he was called up late last year. He's expected to be on the team to start the season, but he was a little bit banged up. His first game actually was today, March 2nd, and he went 1 for 2. So keep an eye on Marte. Pretty good prospect for Cincinnati, and he should be a regular for them this season. 20th on the list for MLB Pipeline's Top 100 for the Tampa Bay Rays is going to be Carson Williams. First round selection in 2021 out of high school. Carson's still just 20 years old. He's already reached AAA. Played 239 games so far in the minors, 835 OPS. And as you see, because this is marked red, obviously my full list of top 100 I have it's not a death sentence, but I have certain items marked green as far as like the best number for the list and red for the worst number for players on the list. And unfortunately, Carson Williams' K rate is the worst on the entire list for the top 100 prospect list at 31.59%. And by the way, I forgot to mention earlier with the fan graphs, with the K rate, if you ever want to know what their K rate, what a player's K rate is, you simply just take their total amount of strikeouts, whether it's 200, 150, 300, 80, 40, whatever, and divide that into how many plate appearances, not at bats, but plate appearances, and that will be their K rates. You can do the same thing for their walk rate. Take their total number of walks, divide that to how many plate appearances they've had, which you can find those numbers on baseballreference.com, things of that, and that will determine what their walk rate and K rate is. Back to Carson Williams, an extremely high K rate. It's not a death sentence. Something to keep an eye on, though. He's already reached AAA. There's quite a bit to like about Carson. His first year cards are in 2021 Bowman draft, and he run about $50. Maybe because of his K rate being what it is, I have him as a maybe. If I remember correctly, we're not going to break down tons of numbers on this particular list, as we might have done before, but not a whole lot of power with Carson Williams. He is a really good hitter in general, so that may be why I lean towards a maybe. And from what I gather, he is in camp, and he's gone 2 for 7. He's not going to get a whole lot of playing time for the Rays in spring training, but he does have 7 at-bats with a couple of hits. 19th on the list is going to be Colton Cowser for the Baltimore Orioles. I just like this picture that they have of Colton for his minor league website with the rain coming down. I thought that was really cool. Just wanted to throw that in here. But Colton Cowser is in camp with the Orioles for spring training. He's already reached Major League Baseball. He was a call-up late last season. He's 23 years old, first-round pick in 2021. Over 900 OPS and 258 games played. His K rate's a little high, below average at 25.89%. You can find Colton Cowser's first year cards in 2021 Bowman Draft, just like Carson Williams's was. And just like Carson Williams, his first year auto is $50. I have Colton Cowser's prospectability as a no, maybe because his age is already 23. He's kind of already reached past that prospecting status or prospect status, excuse me. That's maybe why I have him as a no. He is in camp and he's done pretty well for Baltimore so far. He's 3 for 8 with 2 home runs. Definitely makes the team for Baltimore. That's not a question. Question is how much playing time he's going to get. He's going to start. He's going to be their fourth outfielder. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. 18th on MLB Pipeline's top 100 is Brooks Lee, shortstop for the Minnesota Twins. As you can see here. Brooks was a first rounder in 2022. He's 22 years old. He's already reached AAA in the minors. He's only played 156 games. He's battled some injuries over the last couple of seasons. Posting an 814 OPS in said 156 games, but an outstanding K rate, 15.72%, one of the best K rates in the top 100 list. Brooks Lee's first year cards are going to be in 2022 Bowman Draft, and his first year autograph is about $100, coming in around about $95 to $100, I believe what it was. And I have Brooks Lee because of his shortstop, because he projects to be a very good hitter. He can put it all together. I do have Brooks Lee as a yes for prospectability, and he is in camp with Minnesota and getting pretty decent amount of playing time so far. He's had 15 at-bats, just 4 hits, but the fact that he's getting this much push into spring training so far after a week leads me to believe that he's a possibility to break camp with Minnesota. I'm not really sure it happens. It's kind of really close on the edge. I believe they'd like him to be, but they also have Royce Lewis obviously playing short for them at the moment. So whether he could slide over and play third, whether he can play second base, probably not. You generally don't like to have a guy like Brooks Lee make the team, but then not really play every day. He'll probably start the season in AAA. And 17th on MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospect list is Samuel Basallo for the Baltimore Orioles. But for Basallo, a lot to like. International free agent signing. He's only 19 years old. He's already reached AA for Baltimore. Can play catcher, can play first. A really good walk rate, 19.95%, 875 OPS in 198 games played so far in his minor league career. You can find Samuel Basallo's first-year cards in 2023 Bowman Chrome that came out last year. They run about $125. His age is a plus at 19. His position is a plus at catcher. It's just his raw natural ability. His price tag at $125 is why I have his prospectability as a yes. He is not in camp for Baltimore, but should start the season, I would believe, back in AA. 16th on MLB Pipeline's top 100 is Pete Crow Armstrong for the Chicago Cubs. First round pick out of high school in 2020. 21 years old. Again, he's already reached Major League Baseball. He was a call-up last year. In the minors, he played 214 games with an 892 OPS. His K rate's a little below average, 23.63%. You can find Pete Crow's first-year cards in 2020 Bowman Draft, and you run about $100. Not really sure what to make of Pete Crow. His age, he's only 21 years old. I'm not sure what his ceiling's really going to be. It helps that he does play for a decent market in Chicago. I'm not really a fan of Pete Crow Armstrong. That's why I have him as a no for prospectability. But hey, that could change after a month. If he's on the team to break camp, I think he should be. He is playing spring training games. 4 for 16 so far with a couple of steals. He is in 2024 Top Series 1. If you're looking for his rookie card cards as well. 15th on MLB Pipeline's top 100 list is Marcelo Meyer for the Boston Red Sox. Marcelo? Kind of feels like Marcelo's been a prospect for a long time, but it's only been about 3 or 4 years. Uh, First rounder in 2021. He's reached Double A. There's a lot to like about Marcelo Meyer. I'm kind of on the fence with him. He's also battled a little bit of injuries over the last couple of seasons. Marcelo Meyer's posted an 819 OPS so far in those 195 games played with an A rate that does come in below average at 24.89%. You can find his first year cards in 2021 Bowman draft, and his first year autograph card is going to run you about $150. And as we get the 15th on the list, 14th, 13th into the top 10, these values are going to increase dramatically. I have Meyer as a maybe. He does play shortstop for a big market, possibly. I think this is an important season for Marcelo Meyer. He is in camp, but he has not played any games. I believe he's still kind of coming back from a little bit of an injury situation. Not sure if he's going to be able to get into any games in spring training. It might not happen until late in spring training, if at all. I suspect Meyer will probably again start the season in Double A. Coming at 14th, and would be Pipeline's top 100 is James Wood for the Washington Nationals. Wood is one of the players that came over in the Juan Soto trade with San Diego. I'm a big fan of James Wood. He's 21 years old, high school pick in his second round in 2021. Posting a 915 OPS in 231 games played. Now his K rate is high, 28.05%. Something to keep an eye on as he presumably begins the season maybe in Double A, maybe even Triple A. He's playing a decent amount of games in spring training so far. His first year cards are in 2022 Bowman, and his first year autograph is $180. These values I posted on this list happened about a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I suspect James Wood's values have gone up because he is absolutely tearing it up in spring training. 16 at-bats, 8 hits in those 16 at-bats with 3 home runs. He is absolutely crushing it, and I suspect his value has shot up a fairly decent amount at the time of this prospect list being released. I have him as a maybe. Obviously, talking him up now, I would switch him to a yes for sure. Again, his K rate is something to keep an eye on. Does have a lengthy swing that could be problematic as pitchers start learning how to pitch to him a little bit more. But there's a reason why the Nationals wanted him included in that Juan Soto trade, right? So there's a lot to like about him, and hopefully, he could be a potential pick to be called up at some point late this season. 13th on this list, MLB Pipeline's top 100 is Max Clark for the Detroit Tigers. Buzz surrounding Max Clark is quite high. 19 years old, first round pick just last season out of high school. Didn't play a whole lot so far in the minors, obviously, because he was drafted last year. 23 games played, 760 OPS, K rate at 23.36. Again, just 23 games. Really doesn't really matter too much about some of these numbers, given the fact that he's only played about a month's worth of games. His first year autograph cards, as you see here, is $285. They're in 2023 Bowman draft. I have Max Clark as a maybe, just because he hasn't played a whole lot yet. So we really don't know what to presume Max Clark is going to turn out to be. A lot of hype. He could very well be the most amazing Detroit Tiger prospect ever, or, things could get tough for him, as I'm going to presume that Max Clark starts the season in high A. But, he could get promoted fairly quickly given his ability. but we'll kind of have to wait and see. He's going to be one of those players to really kind of keep an eye on late April or into May, seeing how he's doing at his first level of baseball this season. Excuse me, at that high, presumably again high A ball for Max Clark. That price tag is already really high at $285 because it's came out last year. Usually a new product, the values are just going to be higher than what you'd like them to be. But sky's the limit for Max. He is in camp, I believe, with Detroit, but hasn't gotten any playing time, and I don't foresee he probably get much playing time. But that's it for Max Clark, and that's it for this part 6 of this MLB Pipeline's Top 100. I hope you enjoyed what we're trying to do here. We have part 7, hopefully getting out to you guys by Sunday or Monday. And what I would like to focus on after this, every Monday I'm going to be doing some kind of breakdown. I haven't figured out what it's going to be 100% yet, but it's going to be taking some players and kind of going through each week how they've been doing, what their values are. Are they going up? Are they going down? And I'm not sure how many players I want to do it with. I don't want it just to be like a top, prospect list of the week, because then it's just going to be a cycle of just whoever, had a week where they went, 10 for 20. I just want it to be more focused on maybe even just players that I particularly am interested in. I would just kind of get a gauge of a group of, 20 to 25 players and just, sticking with those players and then kind of seeing how they're progressing through the season, and maybe even throwing in some players that aren't prospects anymore either. We could go that route. We could include this ultra modern prospect list of players who've had rookie cards and first year cards within the last 5 or 6 years, going into Julio Rodriguez's of the world and Bobby Witt Jr.'s and maybe even Ronald Acuna Jr. Just kind of seeing how they're doing, how they're always kind of keep it focusing more on a card collecting perspective. So are their cards going up? Are they going down? Are they leveling off? Something like that. Just to kind of keep it interesting throughout the season. So look out for that. Every Monday, I'm going to try to post a video for that particular list. And I'll see you guys next time.
What does the card video mean?